I couldn't believe that such a place actually existed. I found it very restrictive. It was enclosed with a fence around it. The sleeping arrangements are very tough.
Yasin runs children's homes. He was asked to assess a narrowboat by a London council who had placed a 14-year-old there. The company running it was unregulated.
They were placed over 200 miles from their family. I'm absolutely disgusted at how this has been allowed to happen.
This is the boat. Ofsted says it is legal for an unregulated home to accommodate children if they offer support and not care, short holiday breaks, or a mobile like the narrowboat. We understand the boy was unhappy with his placement. He wanted to give an interview to us, but the council denied permission for him to speak to the BBC. Bromley Council says it only uses such placements in exceptional circumstances. The company says the narrowboat offers comforts normally found in a bedroom and provides short outward-bound courses supporting the child, who was free to leave if supervised. But elsewhere, we've learned of loopholes being exploited. Here in Blackpool, care children would spend up to 4 weeks in one caravan before being moved to another in the same park. What was happening? In a different case, Dorset Council placed a 15-year-old girl in 8 unregulated homes run by a number of companies, including at this holiday home.
She picked the knife up and started waving it round in front of my face. Just didn't want to be here. An absolute nervous wreck. You know, she was upset. The 2 carers then started explaining why she's here, to be assessed and all that. And I said, well, you can't be here. This is not for that.
Dorset Council says the girl was moved so much because there aren't enough registered placements to support children with very complex needs.
She described it as a prison. One of her sad words to us was, wouldn't it be nice to wake up with the same faces instead of getting different carers in every other day? What I witnessed that night will stay with me for some time on that.
These children, many of them, will go to bed in an unsuitable place tonight.
The head of Ofsted says our findings are deeply disturbing.
It is a national scandal. How can we be happy with children in tents on boats? When a child is taken into local authority care, it is precisely because their family isn't providing for them properly, precisely because they need permanence in their life. Clearly we're failing the child when we do that.
But even when Ofsted believes providers have broken the rules, we've learned there have not been any prosecutions.
This is extremely urgent. What could be more urgent than children's lives?
And there's not been one prosecution for one of these providers?
No, as far as I'm aware, there hasn't.
Is that a deep concern?
But that's why we've investigated 150 unregistered children's homes.
This September, we revealed that children as young as 11 are being placed in unregistered homes. Now, our information requests show more than 400 children were placed in such settings last year, 3 times the number 2 years ago.